Chai, welcome to She Spice. In addition to being a notable entertainer and comic, Monique has had her share of public quarrels, including a famous one with OPR Winfrey. Lee Daniels and Tyler Perry, whom she blamed for debasing her in Hollywood anyway. Not every person is familiar with her similarly tense relationship with Whoopi Goldberg, as per Monique. Whoopi can be crafty, and Monique isn't one to avoid getting down on what she sees as deceitfulness.
Their grinding became public around the time. Monique encouraged her fans to blacklist Netflix. She guaranteed that Netflix had low-balled her with a $500,000 offer for a parody that appeared to be out of line when contrasted with her counterparts. Amy Schumer was offered $13 million, while Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock each got a faltering $20 million for their specials, feeling insulted and anxious to reveal insight into what she saw as segregation. Monique took her complaints to various stages, remembering her eminent appearance on The View. It was there on the morning syndicated program that things truly warmed up. Monique was at that point in a weak state. Upon examining her previous debates, she bounced to find support or possibly a thoughtful ear. Rather, she experienced huge opposition from Whoopi Goldberg, the lead co-have, who transparently reprimanded her. The strain truly spiked when she began to unload how she felt deceived by Daniel, Winfrey and Perry. Monique was making sense of her side of the tale about not advancing the 2009 dramatization globally, and how she accepted that choice prompted her to be repudiated.
She raised a few worries about not being made up for extra special exercises, but rather Whoopi wasn't having any of it. Removing her Whoopi made her position clear. I will stop you on the grounds that legally, when you make a film paying little mind to who you sign the arrangement with, your responsibility is to proceed to advance said film. She made sense of, and we've had this discussion, and I told you, assuming you had called me, I might have educated you on what was generally anticipated in light of the fact that legally, yes, when you make a film, paying little mind to who you mark the arrangement with your occupation, is to proceed to advance, said, and I said, assuming that you had called me, I might have educated you on what was exp. Yet Monique wasn't only there to go over old Hollywood dramatizations, she guided the discussion back to her later fight with Netflix and the boycott she called for because of what she saw as inconsistent compensation. She contended that the activities of Pear, Rye Daniels Winfrey and Lyons Entryway showed her that when you don't do what we request that you do, we will remove your work. Monique proceeded energetically, communicating the cost it had taken for a very long time. My family and my vocation have endured in light of the fact that I wouldn't allow those elements to menace me, and on the grounds that I persevered against the harassing. This is what is going on. I end up in for 8 years. My family has endured, and my profession has endured, in light of the fact that what I wouldn't permit those substances to do was menace me. And in light of the fact that I didn't permit the harassing to happen, this is presently what I sit in, as of now. Whoopi, noticeably baffled, surrendered, and shook her head as the show sliced to a business break. However, Monique and Goldberg shared varying positions on this issue. It was the sister act stars. The View pay that generally, as of late, made her separate. The comic told Satire Publicity that they had a discussion behind the stage at the show, and things got profound. She uncovered when I get Whoopi, Goldberg on the flip saying, F them little ones coming behind you better care a lot about you. That squashed me that day in her changing area. She was particularly shaken when Whoopi unveiled her own compensation from The View, which Monique found disappointingly low, considering Whoopi's very long-term residency on the show. So when I get Whoopi, Goldberg on the flip saying, them little ones coming behind you better care a lot, about you, that squashed me that day. Monique was shocked by Whop's demeanor in light of the fact that Whoopi Goldberg let me know the compensation she makes from The View, and that put me in a bad mood. You've been there for a considerable length of time, and you acknowledge them paying you that, and you're telling me, don't stress over the little ones coming up. Damn. In the event that I ain't became stressed over you too on the grounds that you acknowledge that compensation, it makes it hard for myself. And how hard do you believe it will make for the person who ain't here yet, on the grounds that you acknowledge that compensation that you've been there for a very long time, and you acknowledge them, paying you vet and you telling me don't stress over the little one coming up go damn in the event that I ain't became stressed over you too, in light of the fact that you acknowledge that compensation, it makes it hard. This disclosure was especially excruciating for Monique, who has forever been vocal AB, out battling for her own privileges as well as for those of people in the future in media outlets. She added that Whoopi's recommendation to dismiss the forthcoming ladies in the business felt profoundly disturbing to her. It conflicted with all that Monique represented, which is to shout out and pay a smoother way for the people who will emulate her example. As per Monique, it's not just about her fight about starting a trend benefits, everybody making the business more attractive for the following individual who hasn't as yet even shown up yet. From her discussion, it seemed like Whoopi didn't share this point of view, which truly disrupted Monique to remain in my sister's changing area. And she tells me you can't be stressed over the one coming up. Imagine a scenario where Mothers Maybe didn't stress over you. She got out whatever on the off chance that those ones didn't improve it for us. So I made an effort not to take it individual, but rather it's private on the grounds that these are the L80s I look to, so I don't need the young lady who hasn't arrived at this point, or a young lady down the road at the juice bar. I don't believe that she should leave and say that she ain't who I thought she was, so I do whatever it takes. Not to take it personally, but rather because it's private. Because these are the ladies I hope are not here at this point, a young lady directly down the road at the juice bar who says, "Wow, that is Monique." I don't maintain that she should leave and say that she isn't who I thought she was. What was going on reveals insight into a side of Whoopi Goldberg that doesn't exactly coordinate with her public persona, regardless of being an egotistical champ. Having caught an Emmy Grammy, Tony's standing in the background can be a bit dubious. Monique isn't the one in particular who's seen a less complimenting side of Whoopi since joining The View as a co-have in 2007. Whoopi has unquestionably worked up her portion of the show. Take, for example, the episode from January 31st, St. 2022, when The View handled the subject of a Tennessee school locale. Prohibiting the realistic novel Mouse, which recounts the narrative of a Holocaust survivor, the conversation took a disagreeable turn when Whoopi asserted that the Holocaust was not about race, but rather man's brutality toward man, not about race. There's no need to focus on race since it's about man's cruelty to man. This view ignited a ton of kickbacks. Co-have Anna Navarro countered by saying it was about racial domination, featuring the massacres centering around Jews and vagabonds. Whoopi didn't withdraw, however. She contended that it was a contention between two gatherings of white individuals. Euphoria's facial hair hopped in, bringing up the fact that the Nazis explicitly classified Jews as a different race. Leora Rez from the Guard Dog Bunch stopped against Semitism and called Whoopi's remarks unforgivable. The aftermath of her assertions was a huge whoopee that confronted a ton of analysis, and the backfire prompted her to be suspended from View for a very long time. ABC News President Kim Godwin even said something, saying that while Whoopi has apologized, I've requested that she require some investment to reflect on and find out about the effect of her remarks. That is how race affects me when you discuss, being a bigot. Likewise, there was a super abnormal episode on The View where she suddenly asked have Alyssa Farah Griffin, assuming she was pregnant. Alyssa, who was the previous White House overseer of vital correspondences, was plainly shocked and shouted, "No, wow." This prompted mayhem on the set, with the crowd responding boisterously, and her kindred has scrutinizing Whoopi's judgment by inquiring as to how you could say that this is so off base. Whoopi is a wreck. An insulted watcher posted on X. Regardless of whether she were pregnant, she would have constrained her to declare that she could ask during break or before the beginning of the show. Way of behaving, are you pregnant? No, wow. You can't say that when my mother by marriage is here. He's been passing on for me to get pregnant. How could you express? Then, at that point, there's the issue of blackface, Back in 1993, when Whoopi was dating entertainer Ted Danson, he showed up in blackface at her minister's club Broil. As per reports from that time, including the related press, a few participants were irritated and left. It was noticed that Danson's bigoted jokes were obviously made at Whoopi's idea, albeit this happened sometime before her experience on The View. When conversations about blackface emerged on the show, Whoopi didn't actually censure it unequivocally. While Ted Danson and Whoopi Goldberg were dating, he was essential for a dish for Whoopi and thought it was smart to spruce up in a dark face. Whoopi likewise worked up contention with her remarks on Dom's abusive behavior at home in 2014 after NFL player Beam Rice was caught on camera in a "Subscribe She Spice for more videos"